Hi all. This probably will happen as it does in most semesters. When Photoshop updates a version, they take away things that we have no idea about, that they've taken them away until we happen on them. In this case, you see in this tutorial movie here, right at the start of when you guys are working, and most of you are probably doing this right now, when you go to the pattern fill to fill the background with dots, okay, like I did right there, there are no dots that were and used to be available in the pattern library. So I have included in this email a dots PNG file, and I'm going to ask you to what's referred to as, so I'm going to click Photoshop. We're going to, see this right there? Define a new pattern by using that dot file. Now here's how we're going to do it. It's not a big deal, okay? It isn't a big deal. So this is what I've done. I've sent you this. You see this dots PNG here? I want you to right-hand click on that file wherever you put it on your computer and open in Photoshop 2020. Don't double-click it because it'll open in a preview application. Right-hand click and open it like this. So it's just a little tiny dot. Okay, this is real simple. Now we're going to define this new pattern. Now before I do that, I want to go to the other file right here, and I want to show you that if I want the dots, which again, according to this, if I want the dots, they should have been there in that file. See it? Right there, there's dots. Okay, I don't have it as I said. So I want you to have it. Now I'll show you that I don't have it. So I'm going to double click it. Let me say what I'm doing here. Not on the icon of the canvas here, not on the name that I've named pattern. So when you get to this point in the tutorial and you want the dots, do what I'm going to do now. So what I'm going to do is, well, first of all, I want to show you that I don't have them. So I'm going to double click, and you won't have them either, most likely. Now, I'm going to click down here. See where it says pattern overlay? I'm going to click it. Now this window reflects it. Now here, even though there's a dot in that window, I actually, it's because I just tested it, okay? I don't have those dots available to me. See how they're not in these files here? Okay, so what I have to do is to go define a new pattern. Now, I'm going to cancel this because I want to go and open the dots, which I already did. So now I'm going to go to this dots PNG, and there it is. Now, this is what I want you to do. Open it in Photoshop. Make sure the layer is selected. See how I have the layer selected? And just go up to Edit, Define Pattern. Now, I'll name it dots 3, just so we make sure that I have it. It doesn't matter what you name it. Just name it to where you know it's a dot. Okay? And now I say OK. That's it. That's all you had to do. Now I'm going to go to the other file. So I'm going to go to the file that I'm working on. So this is you, and you're working on your web file, and all you've done is put in a gray background. That's it. You've just made a new document and you put in your gray background. Plus you put your guides in there. But now I want to actually use the dots correctly. So here's how I do it. I'm going to double click, as I said, after this layer here needs a fill of something. So you see this foreground. This is the foreground color right there. I'll cancel it. This is the background color. You see it? It says background color. I'm going to fill up this layer with the background color. Now the quick key to do that is on a Mac is Command backspace. It's Command delete. To fill with the foreground color is Option delete. I was trying to think of the PC version. To fill with the, on a PC, it's Control backspace, or with the foreground color is Alt backspace. So if I wanted to fill this up with the background color, I would simply on a Mac go Command delete. You would go Control backspace. Now that's filled with white, right? Now if I didn't do that and I wanted to go the long way to do this, all right, because you can see white is in the background color. How did I get it there? I just clicked it. I moved this little circle around here until it was way up in the corner, and I clicked OK. Now I'm going to go to Edit, Fill, and I'm going to fill with not the foreground color, but the background color. And I'm going to say OK. Now I can make dots appear on this page, on this canvas, all right? So I'm going to double click out here, not on the name, not on the icon, but out here, and I get this layer style window. In the layer style window, click your pattern overlay. Now, pretend this isn't there. Pretend it's a tree, okay? Because I'll just click the tree. Pretend it's that, all right? And that's not what you want. You actually want to use your new dot that you made. So I'm going to click that, which is my new dot. Now I'll click away from it like this, and then I can scale the dots up and down. See how I can make them bigger? I don't care the size you make them. I do not care. Now I'll leave mine big like this, okay? And I'll say OK. Now there's two ways that we can see. See how, do you notice you can't see the gray background because I have a layer that's filled with white and a bunch of dots? Well, there's a couple of ways that you can make it transparent. These are layer modes here. See where it says normal right there? If you go down below this first line, all of these are going to be somewhat transparent. I would choose multiply if I wanted to. Okay? That cuts out the white and it only leaves the dots. All right? Now, so what I want to do is I want to now don't use fill here, but use the top one opacity, and I'm going to take the dots and make them a little bit lighter into the background. So that's it. I apologize for Photoshop 2020 removing the default dots from their library palette for pattern, but now that's how we're going to do it. One last time. I want you to open by right-hand clicking the Dots PNG that I gave you. Okay, just do it. Just open it in Photoshop, I mean. Make sure the layer is selected and just go to Edit, Define Pattern. Now, as soon as you do that in one file, it becomes available for all files, which is actually what I wanted to say. Please let me know if you have any more problems with this. And I'm sure that Photoshop 2020 has changed a bunch of other stuff, so this might happen throughout the semester. No big deal. We just have to bounce with all the changes Adobe makes.